Welcome back to Geometry Classroom. Today we'll talk about solids or 3D shapes or three-dimensional shapes. Is an introduction to solid geometry. We have two main objectives in this lesson. We identify the basic three-dimensional shapes in geometry and use the property of these shapes to classify them. Shapes are called three-dimensional shapes or 3D shapes because they have three dimensions: length, width, and height. Other name of a 3D shape is solid. Whenever you hear in geometry solid, you know it's about a three-dimensional shape. Now, a geometric object or a 3D shape with flat faces and straight edges is called polyhedron, right? This is another name for 3D shapes, right? It's a Greek name, right? You don't have to memorize or remember this term, but for your information, whenever you hear this word, polyhedron, you know it's about a 3D shape or three-dimensional shape. So the first type of polyhedron or a 3D shape is prism. What is a prism? It is a solid that has two congruent and parallel bases, right, or ends, and all other surfaces are parallelograms or rectangles. The shapes of the ends gives the name of the prism, right? In other words, a prism, right, has, for example, is something in this, like this. Right? Now, the name of this prism is given by the name of its base, the top and the bottom. Now, if the name of the base is a square, right, we call the prism square prism. If the shape of the base, right, is a rectangle, we call rectangular prism. If the shape of the base is a triangle, we call that prism triangular prism. If the base is a pentagon, we're gonna call that prism pentagonal prism, and so on, right? So we have many such types of prisms. But all you need to remember is a prism has two parallel and congruent ends. Sometimes these ends are top and bottom, sometimes are left and right, depending, right, of the position of the prism. And all other surfaces, right, that are between bases are either parallelograms or rectangles. Another type of 3D shape or polyhedron is so-called pyramid. A pyramid is 3D shapes that has only one base, right? And the other base is reducing to a point, as we can see here, right? The difference between a prism and a pyramid is a pyramid has no second base, right? The second base is reducing to a point, right? This point is called apex or vertex, right? Now, again, the name of the pyramid is given by the name of its base. If the base is a square, we call squared pyramid. If the base is a rectangle, we call rectangular pyramid, and so on, right? As we can see, the sides are let's say the edges of the pyramid, right? They meet all together at apex, right? Good. Another type of polyhedron or a 3D shape, in fact, a 3D shape, is so-called cylinder. A cylinder is a 3D shape with two identical flat circular surfaces, right? Usually they are circles, right? Top and bottom, yes? But could also be elliptical surfaces. And one curved surface, right, between bases. We have two main types of cylinders. We have a right cylinder, right, and an oblique cylinder, circular cylinder, is like a tilted cylinder. Another type of 3D shape is a cone. A cone is a three-dimensional shape with a circular base, right? A circular base, and a single point apex called vertex, right? In other words, a cone is like a cylinder with only one base, because the other base is reducing to a point called apex, right? Parts of the cone. A cone has a radius, is the radius of the base, right? Height is the distance between the center of the base and apex or the vertex, and h is perpendicular to the base at the center, and s is called slant height, right? Now, like we had for cylinders, we also have for cones. We have two types of cones, right cone and oblique cone, right? A tilted cone. And the last 3D shape is so-called sphere. Sphere is the set of all points in three-dimensional space lying at the same distance, right, from a given point called the center of the sphere. Yes? Good. Now, this being said, let's have a few examples with identifying 3D shapes. Now, on number one, let's find the right name of this polyhedron. As we can see here, this shape has only one base. The other base is reducing to a point, which means this polyhedron would be a pyramid, right? But we know the name of the pyramid is given by the name of its base, which is in this case a rectangle, right? So the name would be rectangular pyramid. Good. Next, here, as we can see, the base of this shape is a circle. And this shape has only one base. The other base is reducing to a point, right? So the name is cone. If you like, we can even write right cone. Now, number 3, as we can see here, this shape has two identical bases, right? Yes, two identical bases, which means this shape would be a prism, right? Again, the name of the prism is given by the name of its base, and its base is a triangle. So the name would be triangular prism. Next, on this shape, as we can see, we have only one base. The second base is reducing to a point. So, in this case, we have a pyramid. The name of the pyramid is given by the name of the base, which is a hexagon, right? So, we're going to say hexagonal pyramid. Next, on this shape, we have two identical bases, but this time bases are circular, yes? Which means this shape is a cylinder. Next, on this shape, we have two identical bases or ends, right? Which means this shape would be a prism. And again, the name of the prism is given by the name of its base shape, right? Because it's a rectangle, we say rectangular prism. And now, one more. Slide. Here. This solid has only one base, the other one is reducing to a point, so is a pyramid. And the name of the pyramid is given by the name of its base, which is a triangle. So we're going to say triangular prism. Triangular pyramid. Good. Next, this solid has two identical bases, right? two identical ends. So it's a prism. And the name of the prism is given by the name of its base, which is a triangle, right? So the name would be triangular prism. And the last one is like a ball, right? Everybody knows is a sphere. Good. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching my video.